Hi everyone, this is Paul Casey. Welcome to the Kenpo Minute. We'll be discussing Kenpo, principles, concepts, teachings, sometimes topical subjects, and we hope that you will like this page, subscribe to this page, and share. We look forward to seeing you at the Kenpo Minute. Thank you. Degree black belt in American Kenpo. He started with there a long time ago under Frank Trejo, and he's been with me for several years. And we're going to go into discussions of Ed Parker's Kenpo. Sometimes we'll talk about subjects related to Kenpo. Sometimes we'll talk about topical things that are important. And we hope that you enjoy it. And it's basically a freestyling of Kenpo here. So anyway, I hope you like it. Today's going to be a discussion more or less on Ed Parker's Infinite Insights. I'm going to use volume four, and I'm going to go into chapter 7, which is basic concepts and principles of technique. Now, there's 21 points of reference, Mr. Parker points out, and I'll get into some of them. They're not in any particular order other than how he enumerated them. So my analysis is going to be more like how to logically put them together so they can be more of a flow. And your thoughts on that, Zach? You've read these books.
Oh, yes.
Anything you want to talk about before we dive
in? We can go down the rabbit hole for sure on this one. So let's just have a Kenpo conversation.
Go with dumpster diving here in the Infinite Insight Volume 4, okay? So let me just lay them out for everybody, and then we'll put them in some kind of order. So he says mastering technique requires adherence to several basic concepts and principles. So essentially, folks, if you're studying American Kenpo or the Kenpo principles as taught by Ed Parker, remember that. There is a purpose for all this. An adherence to one basic concept or principle will often lead to activation of another and thus cause chain reaction of positive benefits. I'd like to know what the positive benefits are. You survive, they don't.
That's definitely positive.
He says, I admonish you to study the following basic concepts and principles and to see how one principle can trigger or enhance the other in increasing the effectiveness of your blocks or strikes from the time of execution to the position of recovery and readiness. Remember, this stuff is pretty advanced for the Kenpo practitioner. It doesn't mean you're not able to understand it. It takes a little bit of effort and spend some quality time with instructors that follow the Infinite Insights. Not everybody.
Well, let's be to the point on that. A lot of people don't even discuss this stuff nowadays.
True. A lot of guys will go off and say, I'm a protege or a student of Ed Parker. However, then they'll say, I teach my style of Kenpo, which is not wrong because Parker looked at it saying, let it be your own voice. And you and I've talked about this. If you look at the greats, Shakespeare, Aristotle, Einstein, and even Ed Parker, they didn't want you to be a carbon copy of them. They wanted you to learn your own expression. And that was so eloquently said by other famous martial artists, but we're in American Kenpo, so we're going to talk about it. That's why Mr. Parker would say tailoring the system to you and make it yours. What are your thoughts?
Well, the whole system is based on that, but there's a proper. Well, let's just start from the beginning. Mr. Parker, for most of the people out there that don't know him or have studied with people that were really close to him, was very analytical. So everything he did, he broke down into specifics, and he did that for a reason because he wanted you to learn a certain way. And what is the first thing you learn? You learn your basics. It's taught a certain way, and the foundation of the whole system of the basics really starts with yellow belt, and you see the progression of it, and then you can have family groupings, techniques that are related. We can add opposite and reverse and all this stuff, but you have to have a starting point for this, and you have to have some base, as you and I like to say, have a beginning to start to learn this stuff. The problem is a lot of people don't understand techniques or understand what Mr. Parker was trying to teach with these techniques, and then they want to change the techniques. Well, a technique is a base move to teach you proper principles and concepts to learn that thinking process, and then you drill these things. And basically, like our famous friend, Mr. Knatzer, likes to say, these are drills to develop skills. And then you basically learn to freestyle within that and adapt. And book 4 talks a lot about this in breath control and all these other things and mental stimulation. And I don't want to jump into it right now. I'll just kind of let it happen.
That's a good point, Zach. So let me do something real quick. Remember, Mr. Parker had the 3 divisions of the art, which you know are the basics, self-defense techniques, and freestyle. And there's a reason it's just a natural progression of your learning. It's sort of like when you were in school and you learn how to write with a pencil and paper, block letters of how to write A, B, C, D, E, F, and all the way up the 26 characters. You had uppercase, you had lowercase. Then you put it into a cursive style, of putting those letters together. And then at the end, you freestyled it, and that still meant your name because the intent was from that. So what we're looking at here is a real serious examination, which I'm going to be quite honest with you. I've been to enough events in 45 years. 45 years, folks. 45. Started when I was young. That's why I still look good. Anyway, so 45 years of this stuff instilled in me, bam, by Trejo. Get on a stance. Bam, make sure you do it right. Smacking me. Okay, what did he do? He made sure that I had a great concept and understanding of our Kenpo basics, which are what? Stances. Come on. And Parker enumerates that in his book here. Today, you look at it, and I see a bunch of people all over the place. Their stances suck. I'm sorry, you suck.
Are you talking about the TP horses?
Kind of. Parker had bad legs at the end. So everybody thinks that he was erect. He wasn't. He just had bad knees. If you want to use a real good comparison of what Ed Parker was about, look at the early videos of the man, him and Chuck Sullivan or anybody else. Mostly the stuff in the white uniforms. And by the way, Parker used American terms. So the Chinese words that were used, some people use to designate persons that are instructors or rank and such. He discarded that. He didn't want that. He wanted American terms.
No Sifu, no sensei, none of that stuff.
And I had long conversations with him and Trejo. First with Trejo to make sure that I wasn't going to get in trouble. Asking him the other thing, okay? But I think the greatest thing about Ed Parker was that he wanted you to ask those questions so you would question him. And that was good. So learn how to, and he said to me one time, and I've said this before, he took over a class of mine, it was a black belt. He was in Pasadena, and he was in the office doing his phone calls and such, and he was wearing his just comfortable khakis and his Hawaiian shirt and flip-flops, I think, at the time. And he came out, and he was walking, he said, Mr. Casey, I want to take over your class. And I said, sure, everybody line up, pull your belts over. The founding grandmaster, and we all saluted him. He got out there. And then he proceeded to tell everybody about the secrets of Kenpo Karate. He says, I'm going to teach you the secrets of Kenpo Karate. Now, I've shared this story with Chuck Sullivan. He started laughing at me with that deep laugh of his. And he says, Paul, he said, he did the same thing to me in 62. Okay. And basically, Parker just worked us for about 25 minutes or more. And I mean, we worked. That was hardcore. Punch, block, kick, punch, block, kick. Line up, do that. And inward block, outward block, upward block, downward block. Okay. And then we do it on each other, star blocks. And we do all those kind of things. Then we would start smacking each other. We take simple techniques. And at the end, he said, that, ladies and gentlemen, are the secrets to Kenpo Karate. Your basics. Your basics. If you don't have a good grasp on that, it's like the foundation of a home. You're going to collapse. You're going to fall down. You're going to be crushed, and you're over with. And it will happen to you when you least expect it. I have another example. One time I was teaching a class, and there was a group of people there, and one of the participants was in a very deep forward bow, more toward the styles of true maybe Chinese or Taekwondo and stuff like that. And I asked them, I said, why are you in that stance? And they said, well, I feel very comfortable with it. And I said, do you smoke? And they said, no, I don't. I said, why wouldn't you want to smoke? They said, well, it's bad for you. I mean, I can get cancer. I don't have the stamina and whatnot. And I said, well, that is the same thing here. You don't realize what's going to happen in the moment of truth. You're going to be caught off guard because that stance is improper. And if you look at Ed Parker, a guy that's 6'1.5", 230 pounds, he had a very tight, narrow stance based on a technique, a way to set it up, knee to heel, toe to heel. Okay. And that was very important to him. So I share that with you. It's important to have that. We're seeing poor mechanics with our lower body. And that's our foundation. All right.
All I hear is Frank saying, "Bend your knees, bend your knees."
Yeah. Well, there's also something else he used to say, and so did Louis Solis.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to say it?
No,
I'll
you
say
can.
it.
Yeah, you can say it.
Yeah. I remember many years ago, 30 years ago, doing stance work and doing the basics. And Louis looked at me, got a straight, funny look in his face. He goes, "Do you shit standing up?" Never forgot it. I was in my stance then.
Well, we had that same thing with James Ebrow. He would,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So, Mr. Ebrow was just just incredible human being. I defer to most of our seniors. Here they are in their upper age, most of them are close to 70 or older, and they still retain those basics and they push that. And it's a very important focus. So all I'm asking you to do is to go back and re-examine what you're doing and have another point of view, which was one of Mr. Parker's favorite sayings. There's the point of view of you, Zach, me, and the viewer that's watching this. There's 3 points of view. Now, are we all right? Yes. Are we all wrong? Yes, because we have different positions. And remember, if you're taught that way, that's how you see it. You're not going to, that's just, I was taught this way. How many times have you had a conversation? Well, that's not how I was taught. Well,
it develops your perception of a certain thing. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from that box to get a visualization of that other perception. And that's in Kenpo, that's what we should be doing all the time. That's why Mr. Parker stressed that so much.
We're going to go through the book now, just a little bit. I'm just going to just read through it real quickly and we can discuss some of this stuff.
So thank you for watching the Kenpo Minute. We hope you enjoy it, and please come back and visit us again. Thank you very much.